Hey guys, so in this video we're going to finish with the ladder and we're going to make it so the player can also climb down, and then we'll just fix some small issues that we will have. I have also decided not to use motion warping that I mentioned because I feel like walking this short distance to the ladder instead of teleporting is just waste of resources, so we'll just use it somewhere else in the tutorial. For now I want to fix this issue that we have, that when we walk short distance from the ladder it will start playing this exit ladder animation. And that is just because in the ladder, when we leave out of range of the ladder, we will enable the overlap with this box, and then once we move back in range, it will start overlapping and playing the animation. So there is easy fix to this. Let's just go to event graph, and here on component begin overlap, this one I actually going to rename to exit ladder box, and let's make it child of the static mesh so it's all together. This is also a little bit offset, so maybe move it here. Doesn't need to be that big, player just needs to touch it slightly and overlap. And now in the event graph, here where we begin overlap, we're going to do one more branch, and we're going to check from the player reference get is on ladder, and if we are on the ladder we can exit the ladder. If we are not, we're not going to even try to play that animation, so we're not going to do anything, and that should fix that. So now I don't have that exit animation anywhere here until I actually get on the ladder again. Second thing is, what I've noticed that if I'm sprinting towards the ladder and then press E, it takes some time before it stops moving, and then it obviously position players wrong. You can see like this. So what we want to do is in the player as well, when we move to ladder, here we want to stop movement immediately. And now I can sprint towards it and move. It won't actually move from this default position of the ladder. Another issue is, let's do this climbing down animation, but first you can see that I don't have an interact prompt shown until I'm over here in the ladder, because I need to be facing front for the interact prompt to be shown. There is that function that checks it. So when we are on the top, we need to actually turn off that function so it can show us that we need to climb down, and we want to have it up here, not down there. So for that we need to do a little bit more complex function. In the in the ladder, we need to go to event out of range. For now, let's go in range first. So in range, we're going to get player reference. I have it here. I'll just copy this, paste it here, and then we're going to get actor location. We need to check where the player is. Copy it, paste it again. This time we're checking self, so the ladder, and we're going to check the distance between them. So split this again, and just right click anywhere and search for distance. Vector, we need to split these two as well. This checks the distance between 2 points. We're only going to be checking Z value of the player and Z value of the ladder, because it's only up and down that we need to compare. And if you did everything correctly, your pivot point of the ladder should be on the bottom, which is important now, because if the player enters the ladder from the top, that means the Z value of the player will be much higher than the Z value of the ladder, which is on the bottom. So if this is greater than 150, for example, just need to put some value here, then we will do branch. You can disconnect this for now. We'll do branch, and then we will we want to show interact prompt if it's true. That means we came from the top. We don't want to be checking this function because we won't be in the front. So we'll do set visibility to visible. And one more thing, this function checks if we are in the front, and then inside it will set this variable is facing front, which then enables us to interact with the ladder is facing front. So here we won't be running this function when we are on the top, so we need to set this is facing front to true to actually enable us to interact with it. And then we will set a new variable which will be is on top, and we will set it to true. We can set it from this one here because that will set it up for us automatically. And then on the false here, we can call this function as normal as before, and then connect it back to this one if we are on the top or on the bottom. And since it's setting from this one, it will always set it right. After that, we want to change the position of the interact prompt because we want to have it based on where the player is. So interact prompt, get it and set world location. We'll split this struct pin, and we only want to change the z value, so x and y will be the same as it is now for interact prompt because that's where the ladder is. We can copy this one, paste it here, x is the same, y is the same, and z value will be the player z value, but we need to subtract some value, some small value, because otherwise it will be too high. We want to have it somewhere like halfway next to player, so -30 and z location. So now if you play the game and we get in range, here we have climb on the bottom, but then I climb up and you can see I have a climb on the top now. So if you like to move it a little bit lower, you can lower this value, but I'll leave it as it is because otherwise on the bottom it will be quite low as well. Or you can also set this location only on the true branch, and on false you can leave it by default as it is because then it's on the bottom. But I'll again leave it as it is. And now we know that player is on top, so we can go to interact. And here we need to do again another branch before, and what do we need to check first? We should check if the player is already on the ladder. So let's get player reference from somewhere. Is on ladder. And if player is on the ladder, we want to get off the ladder. We want to let go and basically drop down if we press E again or interact button. For that we can set up custom event in the player. I'll move this down and I'll do custom event, and this will be let go of, just let go ladder. Let go ladder, and here we only need to set is on ladder to false and movement mode back to walking. So the player will just drop down and act normally. And now in the ladder we can call it on true. Let's move all of this down. And then this one again. So true, get player reference. Let go ladder, and after that let go ladder, what we need to do, we probably need to set the interact that we are on the bottom if we drop down from the ladder, but let's leave it for now. We'll see it when we test it out. We only need to get the static mesh of the ladder, and we need to enable collision. So set collision enabled, because we're disabling it when we're climbing up and down. So no collision, oh sorry, collision enabled, query and physics. And then we can probably reset is on top. So when we let go of the ladder, we drop down. So we're not on the top anymore. We'll put it to false. And then on a false branch, we'll connect this one, is facing front. And just do the same thing that we did before, just move the ladder, move to ladder. And now we do have this enter ladder scene. So we can check based on if we are on the top or on the bottom where we're going to exit. So we're going to create one more scene. So where is it? Enter ladder position, duplicate it, Control and D. This will be enter ladder position, or enter ladder top. The second one will be enter ladder bottom. And this enter ladder top, just move it up. Don't change any other values. Move it up. This is where we'll position the player when we go from the top. But we need to make sure it's under this box. Because if it's overlapping this box, once we climb up, the player will be climbing all the way until here when it overlaps again and then playing animation. So it won't exit it in time. We need to be just under that box. So for now, let's just try to move it somewhere here. Then we can adjust it. And now in the event graph, we can do select. We'll check is on top. And then if it's true, we are on top. So we need enter ladder top and enter ladder bottom on false. And then, so we started on the ladder, that should be fine. Let's see how that works. So climb up, exit ladder. Now I go to climb and I'm on the ladder and I'm not exiting straight away. But if I climb up, you can see I was already in the box, so I can climb all the way to the top and it will never leave until I go all the way down again. So we need to move him slightly bit lower. In the ladder viewport, this enter ladder top. Let's bit down. Test it again. Go up. And now I can climb up. But if I climb down, I go down. Right, now, if I press E again, I will let go and I'll drop down. But I can see I don't see interact prompt anymore. And I believe I can't interact until I leave the position and then interact again. So let's fix all of those things. In the event graph, after the move to the ladder, first of all, we want to hide the interact prompt when we're on the ladder. So set visibility to hidden. Then on this true branch, so player is on the ladder, let go of ladder. We want to reset the location of the interact prompt to bottom because we just let go of the ladder. Best way would be in the beginning we can get this interact prompt and get world location, and we're going to promote this to variable which will be vector type, and this will be interact prompt position. Set it. So that will be the default one in the beginning, and then when we let go of the ladder, we will get interact prompt, set world location, do the same one, so reset the position. Now on event out of range visibility, do I need to generate these overlap events? We should always have it true, so we'll probably delete it from here. And then here in range, I think we're doing everything correctly. Begin overlap, let's see. So now go next to ladder, I can climb. And you could see here, now you can see climb in the middle. And the reason why it flipped is because we are generating overlap events with few different things here. So I do have an overlap event obviously on this exit ladder box, but what it's doing that when we leave bounds of this box, it's calling this interact function in the player, which is on component and overlap. Even though it's not just the ladder, it's the children of it, it's all generating different overlap events and it's sending it to player. So we can't really turn it off because on this exit ladder box we need overlap events. But what we can do is turn it off everywhere else apart from static mesh. So just search for overlap. Here we will generate it because this is ladder itself. Then on exit ladder box we need to generate it. Exit platform, we don't need to generate it on this platform. Enter ladder bottom doesn't have it, arrow doesn't have it, and interact prom has it as well. We don't need to do it there. But now on the exit ladder box, we're going to search for tag, and we can add component tags. We'll do no overlap, compile, and then in the player, here when we on component begin overlap, when we're adding it to interactables, we're going to check if this other component has tag, component has tag, no overlap, and we'll do not boolean. So if it doesn't have the not overlap tag, then we can end boolean and we'll add it to interactables array of the items that we can interact with. Copy the second part from here, copy. This is again getting a little bit messy. I'll just move this bottom part, paste it here, and then connect it to here. That way, when we end overlap with any of those, like even with exit ladder box, it won't actually remove it from the array, so we can still interact with the ladder. Sorry, I'm connected here. Other component. No overlap. Alright. So the one you won't see that weird climb on anything. We're still not hiding it correctly when we on the ladder. So I'm hiding it from the top, but I'm not hiding it from the bottom. And then on the ladder, I obviously can generate overlap again because I didn't enable it. So in the ladder itself, go to event graph. Where am I? I'm turning it off here. Remove this part because we want to always be overlapping now. We do have this branch check that won't let us exit the ladder anymore if you're not on it. And then on false, I think I didn't turn off interact prompt, exit ladder, set word location, and let go of the ladder. That is fine. When we on the ladder, move to ladder, set visibility, it's hidden. So it should be hidden. We need to stop as well that function here because I think it keeps running. So first stop it and then make it hidden. And now we go next to the ladder, go away, go next to the ladder, go away, climb, no overlap events. I can let go. And and also when I let go I don't see interact again, so we need to fix that. I climb up, I can see it on top, then I climb down, I can climb back up, I can see climb, drop down, I drop down, and it goes up. Okay, so the last thing is the actual interact. And then one more issue we will have, and that is with the camera, is when you're facing this way, it will flip your camera, but there might be a rock or a wall or something and it will go really close on the player, so we can rotate camera back to here. So for the interact when we let go, that is after here, let go, set collision enabled is on top, and we need to set world location is on top with turning off, set. Alright, we need to again be checking if you let go of the ladder, that function, which is set timer by function name. Add it here, so it will start running again and checking if you are in the front, because we just dropped from the ladder, so we're on the bottom, so we need this function. And then for the camera, let's just go to player, and in the event graph down here, so after we move to the ladder, we can do it both when we're on top or when we're on the bottom. We're going to just set control rotation. We don't have it here, so get controller, and now get control rotation. Oh, sorry, not get, set control rotation. Split it, and what we need to do is get player mesh, because that is rotated the correct way on the ladder. We will get world position rotation, so which way the player mesh is facing, split it, and now we need to match the Z value, but I think our player is offset, at least mine is, and it's facing to the right, and then mesh is minus 270 for some reason. Let's see. So I move camera here somewhere, climb, okay, it moves it to the side, so we need to subtract some value. But first of all, I don't know why my player is 270. Should be minus 90. That's when you're setting up the MetaHuman, so it fits, but yeah, it should be minus 90, because otherwise you're going full circle. So minus 90, and here we can do plus 90. Play it, go next to the ladder, boom, rotates it right behind you, and same thing when you turn around like this, and you are behind. Let go of the ladder, you got climb. And I think that's all of the issues that we had. It's quite fine. Obviously, we could have some kind of animation when we're climbing on the ladder, because this doesn't look too good, but I just don't have any animation that would climb down the ladder, so I'm not going to complicate it. I think this is quite nice. Just climb it. I know it teleports a little bit, but then you can let go, climb again, stuff, so I'm quite happy with it as it is, but if anyone has any suggestions, let me know. And that is it. So I'll see you in the next one. Actually, before I finish, you can do it yourself, but just I'm going to pack it in a note, which will be a ladder. So this whole thing, because I don't want to have it all exposed like that, so I'm going to collapse the nodes, and this will be climbing ladder. And since it's a movement related, I'm going to copy the color from here and select it and add it here. And then absolute last thing I forgot is when you climb the ladder and you let go, you don't want to straight away get back on it, like interact with it, because then you just position player on enter position, on exit position, so it doesn't look very good. How we can prevent it is in the player we can, in the interact, when we actually press the key to interact with, we can check is falling, character movement, and we're going to do not falling. So we won't be interacting with the objects when we're falling down, and that will prevent some further issues. What am I doing? And boolean, so not boolean. And boolean. And now I can't, when I let go, I can't climb it until I actually fall down. That's it. Bye.